who you are or where you are, the one thing we all have in common right now is that we're all undergoing the COVID-19 pandemic. And although it's causing us physical separation from each other, we set out and asked people all over the country of all different ages and backgrounds to share their hopes for the future, in hopes that this can bring us all together.
My thoughts and wishes for the future are for everyone to appreciate what they have and not what they don't have, to tell their family members that they love them daily because you never know when they're not going to be here, to kiss your kids, kiss your dogs, be grateful and be thankful for everything that we have because there are so many more blessings than bad times.
So I think oftentimes our society is criticized for being too entitled and grandiose. So I hope that people are able to take this time to reevaluate and to really focus on what's important in life and just being a better, kinder, more caring person towards one another. This situation has been compared to this generation's 9/11 many times. And I think that this comes from not just being a New Yorker, but an American in general. You know, in situations like this where we're almost under attack and now it's not by other people, it's by a virus, it's up to us to come together and to just love one another. And so I am very optimistic.
My hope for the future is that we can all remember to appreciate our blessings, support our communities and small businesses, and notice the beauty in our natural environment.
So my hope/dream for the future would be that this doesn't cause any more bitterness and discrimination that we already have in the world. And I do feel like this has, kind of escalated some of those things. And I hope that it just doesn't make it worse and that people, learn to just accept that it is what it is and not cast so much blame on just one person or a group of people.
I hope, obviously, that when this is all said and done, this community stays together like it's come together.
Yeah.
We have had so much support. And everyone's going through, that's why you're doing this. Everyone's going through their own things, and people are giving us enough of their energy that's helping us to keep going. And it's crappy when crappy things make people come together, but if this has shown us anything, it's that there's so much love in this world, and you just have to keep seeing it. So some community love and some lessons learned. But that's what I've got.
My hopes and wish for the future when all this is over is that people will realize how important getting rid of germs is in our world, that people return to health with a minimal amount of lives lost.
I hope that businesses and small businesses, especially in the Charleston area, are able to rebound from this because most restaurants in the area are going to be hit really hard.
So my hope for the future is that obviously soon enough this will all stop and life will be able to go back to how it was before. I realize how important it is to be grateful for the lives that a lot of us live, and particularly myself. I feel like I'm so grateful to have such an amazing family and be lucky enough to have food on my table. And
I think that we realize and appreciate how vulnerable each of us are. What we do impacts other people. Why are we wearing masks? Because another person's breath can have an impact on me. And in a similar way, I just wish that we would realize that even before the coronavirus, everything we do has an effect on others. So whether it's economically, my desire to have cheap materials from Amazon, they're cheap because the worker who's making them isn't paid much. Our closing borders and limiting refugees, has an effect on people. Our words of kindness or our words of abuse have an effect on people. So we're much more interdependent than I think we realize. And this virus has certainly made the world community realize it matters. Now, we could take that one of two ways. We could make thicker borders and be further isolated and further limit, or we could be the one family that God really desires us to.
After this, I hope to spend more time visiting friends and family. After this, I hope there's a short road to recovery.
After this, I hope that we put our country back to work by bringing manufacturing back to this land, and I have a definite bigger appreciation for skilled laborers, the frontline healthcare workers.
You know, I'm looking forward to most is just the first time that my friends and I can go out to dinner, be all together, things kind of settling back down. I'm really just excited for when this kind of all calms down. And
I hope everybody stays healthy and gets through this as painlessly and as easy as possible.
My hopes for the future are that scientists will be able to create a vaccine so that people will stop getting really sick from COVID-19. Also that doctors, nurses, and first responders get the mental health care they need after this intense period of time. And honestly, that people start caring more about our Earth because we're seeing the way that it is responding positively to having less pollution.
My hope for the future is that we have a lot of takeaways out of this. Not only what we can do as a society, but individually. My son, his lifetime, he can learn from this and how to be prepared. We take so much for granted on a daily basis, the freedoms that we have.
So what's my hope for all of this? That we learn to take care of ourselves, we learn what's important, we learn that sometimes it's the simple things like seeing a friend or getting a hug from someone we love that can make us happy. We don't need all the other stuff that right now we're being deprived of. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.
The whole economic and social scene desperately needs some review, and I think smart people know it.
Our hope for the future is that we learn something from this crisis. Hopefully we will be able to understand what it means to reach out to our fellow human beings and display even the smallest act of kindness, because that proves that we have souls and that we're willing to help each other out so that there's always a reason to live and to forgive and to move on.
What is my hope for the future? Well, I'm going to actually sing it. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love, not just for some, but for everyone.